want to start this video off by saying I hope you had a good Thanksgiving and your bellies were full of good food, a decent day, and probably a little bit of beer if I had to guess. That's what this shirt's for. Hydrate responsibly. Today is a day of horrible greediness now, which is ironic. It's the day after Thanksgiving, and I absolutely hate Black Friday. Now, I had to work, I used to work them in my early 20s, and I'm going to tell you, it was hell. It was horrible. In fact, one of the places I worked is one of the second worst places, or maybe third, depending on your area. The top three places that sucked the most was Walmart, Best Buy, kind of the mall, and Toys R Us. Now, I worked at Toys R Us. Toys R Us was an absolute nightmare. There is hundreds of people that would be coming in and out. The deals were great. I mainly sold the video games. Like it was the Wii, PS3s, Xbox 360s, and pretty much their games. Now, ironically, I got a game for essentially Black Friday. It was one of my first paychecks, and the game that I decided to buy with my money was actually a really good all-time favorite of mine that I haven't played in a while. I actually picked it up on Steam, which was Overlord 2. I played a little bit of it, probably a few years prior to that, on 360 and at a friend's house, and I thought it was really cool. So I found out 2 was out, and they had it on sale for like $20. So I bought it. The only thing that sucked about working at Toys R Us overall, like as a 20-year-old, a lot of it was pretty cool because it was my first job, and I mean, getting used to actually having to listen to authority outside of school was definitely a change point in my life. Knowing that they were going to pay me. Now, at Black Friday, that was the bad part. That was like my second or third day. They trained me on like, I think a Tuesday. Wednesday, they had me get ready. And then Thursday, I got lucky I didn't have to work like the opening of Black Friday. I only got the second half of it. Now, by second half, I mean it's about 8, 9 o'clock. So I had to leave with my parents because it was a lot easier. I didn't have a vehicle. So I left with them on Black Friday, pretty much walked around with them, took a nap in our vehicle, and then they drove me to Toys R Us because they were already going to be there. So pretty much just worked out. But Black Friday, I have to let you know, and in on a little secret that I would assume everybody already knew. Those TVs you're buying are not on sale. They're just not. If you're going to go get a new TV, I suggest you look at it and try to find an older model. That's what I did. I did that around May of a few years ago. I wanted a 4K TV, and Samsung has their Crystal Lights, or Crystal UHD TVs and stuff. So I found the new one that would have been, I mean, too damn much. So I went ahead, looked at it. I went into Google and looked at older models and found that model number and looked it up on Amazon. They were selling it, and I got it for, I mean, like a third of the price. And you're looking at TVs that will be, say, $400, and you're only getting like $60 off of an average price, or you're getting $100 off of their asking price. But really, you find out a few months ago, probably in September, that it was actually $50 lower than that. And it makes no sense for you to still pay these higher prices for TVs that on average, actually $50 cheaper than that. So it's not even a deal. The only deals I see is like probably games and movies. And that's a few things I used to be able to pick up when I even went to Black Friday. But mostly I had to work them. Being my only experience at that time with Black Friday was definitely only going to be Toys R Us. Now, this is where the shit hits the fan. The following year, I ended up working at a office supply store. Now, the reason why I ain't going to say it is because I don't know how much I can actually get away with saying without probably getting in trouble. I got to watch my ass on that one. But yes, overall, Black Friday at the office supply store, I thought wouldn't actually be that busy. Now, I was slightly right, except for the first few hours. Now, the manager I had at the time was like, oh, it's going to be huge. It's Black Friday. It's big for retail stores. And then we're an office supply store. The only thing we sell anybody would have looked at was computers. And actually, the funny part was the computers weren't actually on a bad deal. They were slightly a decent price. They weren't horrible. But We still didn't sell hardly jack shit. The computers sold out pretty quick, but other than that, nobody cared. The only thing I walked away with, which I don't even own anymore, was a 20, 24-inch, I think, LED TV. And at that time, LED TVs were pretty pricey, and I got it for $125. I thought that was a pretty good deal at the time. Because a lot of other ones were about $180, $200, and even still today, they still kind of hit that price. But at the time, it was pretty good, and I didn't have a TV, and I was living out of a van, so I needed it. So I grabbed it, and yeah, it worked out for me. Now, the fun part about working at that place was just all the usual people. I mean, we had daily, like, well, I say daily, weekly customers that we knew. We knew their names. I mean, we were a place of business. We weren't really a store. It was. I always looked at it as a place of business with your Monday to Friday regulars and just random people in between. Because a lot of our money was made by these regulars. They would come in to the print center in the back and make, God, I don't know, super, like, at the time we did custom work in that store. I don't think they do custom work anymore. A lot of it's sent off, or it's supposed to be quick and easy plug and play prints. But I learned so much about printers and chairs that I don't think I would ever want to go back to that. Ironically, I learned how to work on computers back then. But the overall thing about, I thought, was with Black Friday was the fact that the randoms that would come in and the regulars were the bigger fun, like the funny thing to me was they would come in trying to get deals on stuff that they bought every day. And it wouldn't even be deals. The only thing that we ever really made the biggest money on was regulars and back to school. Back to school, I hated because that was our nightmare. That was days of Black Friday, if that makes any sense. So you have Black Friday that's always just piled with people. Now, for store workers, it's bad in the store. Now, anybody that worked Black Friday knows it is hell. It is ridiculous. You will see the biggest church-going grandmas coming out with a slugfest, and all of a sudden you got 6 fights going down the aisle for TVs that they should have got a ticket for. I only went to Walmart 1 year where they handed out tickets for these items, and if you had a ticket, you got in line, and it was one big line, so everybody had different tickets for DSs, TVs, so they wouldn't have any fights. And I don't know if they still do that anymore, but that was the biggest, smartest idea I ever seen, where you actually bought the ticket. So they never put these big items on the floor, so there wasn't any fights. People have gotten really hurt doing this. But so the office supply store, Walmart still gets a horrible deal with this too. Back to school is when teachers and parents and all sorts of people pile up, and it's like a mini Black Friday sale. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you should have worked there. Walmart employees are going to be the biggest ones because they got to deal with this twice a year, right back to back. So you get like a month off of just a little bit of calm, and then right back to the bullshit. So what would happen, we would do our inventory, and if you don't know, our inventory had individual pencils, boxes, I mean piles of boxes of individual pencils. And these were up high in a back room. We would have to bring them all down. We'd have to make sure everything is accounted for and right on point. So when we get our new inventory in, we got to redo all the stock to bring them out. You're piling these in these cardboard makeshift midway aisle things, and you're having to tag everything, and you got to get it ready. And then you got people who, I'm telling you, they do not care. You think employees get shit on by customers so hard. I feel so much for any type of retail store clerk that has to deal with any type of terrible person. That's the only way I can put it. There's, I think, 2 people in this world that don't get enough recognition, and that is going to be the clerks that work at your regular retail stores and any food restaurant employee, especially servers. Now, the people that cook the food are already dealing with their own shit in the back. Now, my buddies that I know, they kind of talked me over because that's what they were working when I met them. While I was working retail, they were working food, and I'm gonna tell you, they said in the back, yeah, it's annoying, it's a rush job all the time, but overall, you're taking your anger out on each other in a fun way sometimes. A lot of them be yelling and cussing, and a lot of them love the movie Waiting. So they said this kind of accurate, especially for the time. Yeah, so if you would have pissed them off, you would have got something in your food. But retail workers, they're out in the front having to deal with it, just like waiters will have to deal with, and waitresses. Well, they probably ain't even the problem. Now, you can have a bad waiter and waitress, and a bad clerk that works at, any store. But a lot of them aren't even the problem. It's you. And that's why I try to keep my calm a lot of the time, because while I can be a very angry person sometimes, I don't see the point in taking it out on these. That's why I hate Black Friday. I hate back to school sales because it's an extra excuse for you to feel more entitled to come over there and shit on all these people that are making, $10 an hour or less. And believe me, they're just trying to make it, or they're probably just 20-year-olds just trying to make a extra buck while they're in college, or it's just their first job, so they're just trying to get into the workforce. Just kind of, they don't know what they want to do, so they're working there, and you're just giving them shit. And that's usually what happens. And I worked in there, so I understand. Now I don't have to worry about any of that anymore. For the last 8 years has been, or 9 years, no, 8 has been the most peaceful that I've had on Black Friday. Like right now, I'm off work, so I get to be at home. And right now, I'm just going to record today and probably just go play some video games, enjoy me some pizza. And I have a store right down the road. So I don't have to go into town. I live out of the edge, so I don't have to worry about traffic. I haven't heard a single car. It has been so peaceful today. The only thing I had to hear is my cat meowing because I passed out on the couch again. But yeah, I think this video has been going on too long for a rant just about Black Friday and, back to school, I guess, is part of that. But hey, those are terrible days. They're not days to look forward to. If anything's to go by, you should watch South Park. They make a good point on what it's like. It is a horrible experience, and I can only imagine it's getting worse considering now they've extended the times. I don't know if this year they did it on Thanksgiving. I heard that they were going to stop doing that, but yeah, they started extending little Black Friday deals through the week, and then like Thursday night is when they were going to start it, and it wasn't going to end till like, I'm sorry, yeah, Thursday night, but it wasn't going to end till like late Friday, which is stupid. It's Black Friday, not fucking Thanksgiving Black Friday. It makes no sense. If you could, please like, share, and I'm getting tongue-tied. Like, share, and subscribe too. If you're running across this video, it is appreciated, and I want to let everybody know I appreciate everybody that comes to view my channel or my account. I'm still trying to update my account because I'm still getting used to trying to, not look like a loser. So, yeah, that's all I got to say about today. Y'all have a good one.